Kubor ka Batisi TV. Lawan Rashapi da ka Frank Motors. I am Tata Punch. Price starting at 5.80 lakhs. Ringkat bat ka net foodish. Ordar mapi nginwan ra amangi hakir dobyeng jongpi.
Ke Icfai University Meghalaya haga Pratrik Risau Arjar Arpuar. Kalau Pynlong ya ke Yasswy Memorial Lecture Hashlong Club halor kapang Academic Education and Creativity do the clash. Kini ke jing yata yathir kalong kum sibinta ke jing kan ma buram yo nong seng jong ke Icfai Group of Institute u Yasswy ubal khlatno na kani ke slaperthei. Udrubha Jyoti Hazarika ubalalong Commissioner and Secretary balasong thai jong ke Sarkar Assam bad u President barim jong ke North East Writers Forum ulalong long ai jingkren halor gani ka phang hakabala sakhilang da ka Vice Chancellor jong ka Icfai University Meghalaya ka Dr. Alisha Gatpho hakabala shimtalang da ki Professor Nakiway da ki College bakantup na ka Sankardev College ka Women's College ka GIMT Guwahati ka Martin Luther Christian University lembat ki khana school jong ka Shillong Jail Road Boys Higher Secondary School Shillong.
The lecture. Sir Juba Joydi Hazarika, who is here in our midst today and who will deliver the memorial lecture, hardly requires an introduction. An eminent literary figure, writing fictions, he has over the period of time carved a niche for himself in the literary world in a brief period of time. A graduate from St. Edmund's College, Shillong, he obtained his master's in economics from Guwahati University, Assam. He served as a lecturer in Jagiroad College, Assam for a brief period of time. He joined the Assam Civil Service in 1983. He was inducted into the IAS in 1999 and served as Commissioner and Secretary to the Government of Assam before retiring in 2016. Post-retirement, he was appointed as a member of the Assam Public Service Commission, and thereafter was in charge as chairman of the commission till 2018. He was a former president of the North East Writers Forum, which was established in 1997. He has written 3 critically acclaimed novels. Firstly, A Bowstring Winter, published in the year 2006, Luck, published in the year 2009, Sons of Brahma, published in the year 2014. His forthcoming novel is titled Once Upon a Time, a Hakim, due for publication soon. His stories have been featured in the Bombay Literary Magazine. He was awarded with accolades such as the Katha Award in 1996, the DY 365 Award for Literature in 2014, and we indeed are very privileged to have
Icfai Group, which are not just surviving but thriving. These institutes serve to democratize education and give the students a choice in a sector where choices have historically been limited. Late N.J. Yasswy, who is more known as NJY within our Icfai family, was the founder of the Icfai Group of Educational Institutions, and he was a pioneer in promoting higher education in the private sector. He had a brilliant academic career. He set up the Icfai Group as a single institute in 1985 without governmental aid or institutional funding in an era where government support was the norm. He chose to spend all his energy on the fledgling institution, which over the years grew to become what it is today, a landmark in the world of management education and research, with the Icfai Foundation publishing over 300 case studies every year. Professional quarterly research journals in various fields of management, finance, science and technology, law, economics, and the liberal arts. NJY was instrumental in building several business schools and about a dozen universities in the developing states of India, bringing business and management education to students who would have otherwise had to travel far away from home.
So I will say this. This means that does creativity and education blend or conflict with each other? Do they blend or are they in conflict? As what he said, do they clash? Means the other side of it is, can they not blend creativity and education? Now, in order to understand that, as we all are from the academics, even Mr. Hazarika, partly you are from the academics, you have started your career as a teacher. So education is one of the tools that help us to grow and develop as good human beings. Not only that, it is education that will help us to get that help us as to say to get a job, a well-paid job. It is education that helps you to get a prestigious status in the society. And most importantly, education is also the tool that helps us to climb the ladder of success. Now, how will this education and creativity go hand in hand? How will they go together? Now, I think the topic, it must have struck him because we are in the post-pandemic period. Now, before the pandemic, what did we do? We are stuck in the classrooms. You had academia-industry relationship, students doing their projects and internships and all. Fine. But what happened in 2020? We somersaulted to digital education. Yes or no? Yes. I will not say that we walk into it. We somersaulted into it. We like it or not, you know computer or not, do you have digital education or not, in 2020 you are bound to learn. And that set us to enter the era of digital education, which we never thought that would be. That was the period which helps us to show that there is a blend between creativity and education.
This isn't an attempt at humility, or if you wish to call it fake humility, because fake is the in thing nowadays. But having had hardly any exposure as a teacher, I was there for 6 months as a lecturer in Jagir Road College, then they kicked me out. They didn't believe in that. As a teacher or an academician or as a research scholar, I tried my hand at PhD, and the topic was the emergence of the Yasswy's economic middle class family in the post-independence era. See, I remember that. But then my guide said, "You are not worthy." So I stopped and became a magistrate, a civil service man in 1983. So I'm neither an academician nor a research scholar at any given time, except for those 6 months in my so far semi-interesting life. And so all that I can do now is stand before you and hope that you will bear me out. But despite my hesitation in beginning this, which was on the 4th of this month within Rani, when the request came to me telephonically from this august institution for delivering the memorial lecture, I nevertheless took it up primarily because I would get an opportunity to meet the faculty members of Icfai as well as the students, and further because the theme, partly contributed by me, deals with creativity. Creativity, it's a word that resonates again and again in almost every circle I venture into. Whether it is Mahesh, the gardener at home, back home we have a gardener paying 1,000 rupees per month, or Miss Annie Ernaux, who received the Nobel Prize just 3 days back, French lady, never heard of her, but then when I went through it yesterday, I found that she has done a lot of autobiographical diaries written work. It is an enviable word, this word creativity, a word that has bearings on life itself, both human and divine. The supreme creator who created us created all of creation, and we, the created, now creating our own creation. There is a link, maybe not divine, but nevertheless, because we are humans, because we are Homo sapiens, because we have the knowledge that there is divinity in this world, there is something to it. This thing called creativity, the divine aspect of creativity, in any aspect of life, we'll come to later on. The creator who created us, created all of creation, and we, the created, creating our own creation. And so, bearing on our shoulders as we necessarily do, the word creativity assumes a singularly focused measurement of one's contribution to the scheme of things. What scheme of things? Many. For life, as we know, is a many-splendid thing as voiced by the poet, and the universe is strewn with far too many arenas where we tread and try to improve, to generate something new, what man had said, for our individual betterment, for our collective development, for ensuring that life is not as meaningless as made out to be by some. That even if it were presumed to be meaningless, to then give it a meaning through creativity, or more specifically, through the process of creativity. Long and assorted and sometimes brief and specific have been the definitions of creativity offered by us. But we acknowledge at the same time the fact that the usage of this word, the word creative, has its roots in Latin. From the word creatus, C-R-E-A-T-U-S. I looked it up in Google, by the way. This is the Google part. Which means to have grown. Create, C-R-E-A-T-U-S, creatus. It's a Latin origin word from which comes creativity, and it means to have grown. I'm 6 feet tall and I stopped there. All of us, at some point we stop. So tolerant to listen to this word escaping my lips. I hope you have grown by at least that simple understanding that although you may have heard someone speak on the same theme and subject or read about it in your many readings, this precise manner of speaking, this manner of placing the words as I have done, the way in my tonal quality, is hopefully different from all others that you have had before. If yes, then till this exact moment I have had the good fortune of creating something. If I have imitated word for word, tone for tone, comma for comma, grammar for grammar, then I have not been great. Of having framed, I have had the good fortune of creating something, of having framed much used words in a permutation and combination, or in a matrix of sounds, of vowels and consonants, and grammar and syntax, that I can possessively say had not been borrowed from anyone by me. The idea, yes, but not the language. The subject, yes, but not the framing or the coloring of the subject with the very same words used by another speaker or author. Now, does academic education come in the way of this understanding of creativity, this knowledge that we have contributed something new, to have added something that in some shape was never there earlier? Again, like creativity, there have been several definitions of what goes by academic and what goes by education. Perhaps for the former, the standard response would be, and I quote, theoretical or hypothetical, not practical, realistic, or even directly useful. The definition of academics from the dictionary, that's an Oxford one, not Google. Yet, even as I utter these words, there is a concomitant feeling of inadequacy on my part. For in all my years as an academic student of economics, I have never once considered that any subject taught with rigor, discipline, sincerity, honesty, and with the blessings from centuries of observation and experimenting, with the very ideals that go to frame a subject, an academic subject, in my case not economics, can ever be considered or dubbed non-realistic. It is, they say that the definition is non-realistic, but according to me it's not so. Hypothetical, yes. Non-practical, yes. But when the very basis of human existence, that of food and shelter, is later built into features in the human mind precisely to help people out from this predicament of shelter and food. How is it possible for one to hold, and that to hold simplistically enough, that academic and academic life cannot be directly useful? Definitions are fine, but not always gospel. And just as in certain kind of literature one reads between the lines, or just as a writer, take Ernest Hemingway, uses subtlety or nuanced sentences to convey hard thoughts, so too we must be humble enough to tell ourselves that academics is a vibrant and certainly exalted part of our lives. A life lived mostly in the mind, with ideas. But since when has the mind ceased being a part of human practical existence? The best one that I can think of in this context is this, and it is from this old man called Socrates. And the line is this, that the unexamined life is not worth living. Anything that is given to you, you ought to examine, including this archaic words I'm speaking out to you. Having spoken thus far for the three aspects of today's topic, that is academic education and creativity, let us now enter into how far education can play spoil sport through creativity. But with the onset of the industrial age, when craftsmanship and scholarly tones took a shape different from what they had been during the pre-industrial age, the focus began to grow first on competition among students, and second on getting hold of a job for earning income. It was not that there was no competition in the pre-industrial age, for availing wages and income were also present, but the method was different. The severity was different. The customs and laws governing men and women in cities and towns were of clans and feudal setups and others that made up that classified. Sorry, I'll repeat that sentence. The severity was different. The customs and laws governing men and women in cities and towns were different. Of clans and feudal setups and others that enabled classified human existence.